Hi guys. So in this audit, we are going to talk about this jewelry brand known as Humble Chick NY, and I've been working with lots of jewelry brands in the space, so I understand this category, and this category excites me in itself as well. I think in terms of marketing and advertising strategy, you've got a lot of room to play with in terms of you know marketing yourself on different keywords, etc., etc. So yeah, let's dive straight into this. So this is their top selling SKU, which is selling for it has around like 28,000 sales coming in. This is like big pearl earrings. So a good thing about a jewelry brand, especially when it's targeting mass category, or there's a SKU with a very good entry level price, is that you can have your customers convert on these SKUs, and then you can always sell them a higher priced product via retargeting with brand tailored promotion campaigns, sponsored display targeting. So lots of methods that you can use as well. But yeah, let's dive straight into this. So all of this information is actually publicly available. I do not work with this brand, so I do not have access to any internal data. But spending more than 15,000 hours inside Seller Central since the last 7 years in managing more than 60-70 million dollars in annual revenue, I understand how patterns occur and how a brand can be scaled further. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. So first thing that I noticed is, of course, that this is a pearl earring. You've got 6 to 7 different images. I would change these images a bit. I think they look, when it comes to jewelry, a very important metric that you have to measure is your CTR. That, of course, is for any category, but for jewelry, I think it's more important because it's you have to. The design has to be the most aesthetic as compared to your competitors. And also, although it's an extremely simple product, there's no doubt about it. But still, you have to make amendments to your CTR and ensure that you are improving your CTR as much as possible. And when I have a look at their storefront, I see that there could be improvements made, or there could be different sort of like testings going around as well. Although I would rate it as 7 upon 10 or 7.5 upon 10. But yeah, going a bit down below, another thing that I see is competitors targeting them. Right now it's not coming, but there were sponsored display ads running on them, and right now they've got sponsored product ads running on them with potential sellers selling at a very lower price, selling the exact same product as well, maybe, right? So when it comes to your top SKU, the best selling one, because they've got such a huge catalog, I would definitely recommend them doing a good amount of defensive targeting this way. Moving a further down below, so this part I've experimented it firsthand with a pretty big jewelry brand. Your A plus content versus your premium A plus content, there's a huge difference in terms of conversion, by the way. And if you are checking your add to cart to purchase ratio, adding premium A plus content and a brand story, it improves that a lot. I've seen that firsthand. So because I've seen their creatives on their website as well, that they're pretty decent, they're pretty good, and they can actually add a lot of these creatives. They'll definitely be eligible for premium A plus content right now as well. So I think adding premium A plus content and a brand story is a no brainer. So for entry level SKUs, it's extremely good to have a simple A plus content without any brand story. But I think in order to sell your much higher priced products, and of course even for like lower priced products as well, for better conversion, and if you're planning to improve your price down the line, there should be brand story as well. And I think this the brand name in itself can be used for a good brand story. So Humble Chick NYC, if it's an NYC jewelry brand, you always get the premium feel, right? And it's already featured in multiple places. So the repeat customers and customers coming from a jewelry store and then buying it online, of course that will be a good amount as well. But the reason for you coming to this marketplace is, of course, targeting new to brand customers. So ensure that in order to target new to brand customers, you are putting yourself as the most premium authentic brand. Of course, it's American owned, so it's US made USP as well. That will not be there with a lot of Chinese owned brands if they're selling the same product. So of course you have to position yourself in a lot more different way. Now, one another thing that comes from a lot of experience operating in this category is what kind of keywords are you targeting, right? And I'll jump on there a bit later, but I see that it has got a 4.1 rating, and once I opened up their reviews, I think there can be a potential of actually removing these reviews as well. So a lot of these reviews are actually extremely recent, and a lot of them only talk about that it's a broken product. And so, same goes with this one. It was broken off. Two pairs of these broke almost immediately. Not a good item. The earrings, of course, break. That's a spelling error. uh, Pearl store quality being one's big disappointment, 0 stars, broke after one wear. So in case you're having lots of same amount of reviews targeting the same problem, either it's a problem with your product, or either it's a review that can be removed, but of course adhering to all of the Amazon's policies. But this could be a competitor attack as well. So I would say definitely get it checked even further, and if it's there, just get it, just try to work on it, because with jewelry category, I've seen how conversion rates start falling even with a very small rating difference. And this is, by the way, a very critical position. 4.1, if it goes to 4.0, it's going to be critical, but if it starts leaning towards 4.3, it's going to be extremely beneficial as well. Now coming back to the keyword targeting strategy, so I actually have selected where are these guys achieving their sponsored ranks. And of course, from there, I will try to see where are these guys achieving the organic ranks as well. So these are all of their sponsored ranks, and I can rank it according to sponsored ranks, and then see what's happening. Yeah. So of course they have got pretty good ranks here. Humble Chicken itself, there's a 400 search volume here. But other than that, when I try to organically see that where are these guys ranked, other than a few keywords which are pretty good, such as big earrings, big pearl earrings, they've got a number one organic rank. It's a pretty decent keyword. Now a lot of these, of course, they do not have a huge amount of search volume. Large pearl earrings, it's one another good keyword. But other than that, I do not see a huge amount of keywords where they are pushing themselves. This is a good keyword, by the way. So of course, if I just put a minimum search volume of 500, this can become a bit of a problem as well, as to how many keywords are they organically ranking themselves at. And because of a good amount of reviews already on the listing, I'm assuming it's a listing that has been around for quite a while now, right? But all right, so a good amount of uh, organic ranks that they have. It's quite low. Of course, it can be improved as well. Now for that, I'll need to have a look into their placement strategy, their bidding strategy, etc., etc. But one thing that I want to bring into knowledge to all of the jewelry brand owners, and anyone who is in somewhere which can be a gifting category as well, that do not rule out the gifting keywords, because I've seen this firsthand. I've built a brand from the scratch, which was a commodity knife brand, where we actually started pushing it to gifts for mother when it comes to Mother's Day, and we had a laser engraving on it. So that brand name was Cutlings, by the way. I was working for them back in 2022 until it got sold off to an aggregator who has right now messed it up. But nevertheless, gifting keywords do not rule them out. With Valentine's Day coming in, and actually it was just 3 to 4 days ago. I'm quite surprised that it had absolutely no Valentine's Day sort of like branding. And I do understand a lot of brands, they do not want to become seasonal. They want to stay, all year around. But having said that, at least changing one of your, storefront pages, because from a fact, I know that a lot of jewelry brands, if you funnel their traffic into the storefront page, you actually get some pretty good, sales there. So definitely, this can be improved as well. Now, Mother's Day is coming too. A good amount of SKUs can be marketed from a Mother's Day perspective. If even if you're not doing your best selling ones, the ones where your revenue is right now quite less, but there's enough social proof, there's a good amount of reviews and rating, you can actually change their marketing angle a bit and push them more to gifts for mom, let's say, when the Mother's Day comes in the next 3 months, right? So ensure that you're utilizing all of these holiday events, because there's a huge amount of spike that comes in. And I'll share a bit of my strategy as well. So I used to rank myself on, let's say, gifts for mom or gifts for Father's Day, right? And off season, their search volumes were not even more than 300-400, and their CPCs were so low because no one was trying to rank themselves up there organically. And because of us spending, let's say, $500 or $1,000 in total just for ranking on that keyword of the season, when the season came in, those search volumes spiked up to, let's say, 10,000, 15,000, and we were the ones sitting on those ranks, like on top 5 6 ranks. So that's how you get a huge amount of sales coming in as well. And then of course, when it comes to your storefront, I was expecting a bit more better. The reason being, it's a brand that has already obtained such amount of social proof that it can have wonderful creatives, wonderful videos, and market themselves in a much better way. Now I think they've got a wall art, sort of another category as well, which I haven't checked out yet, although it's comparatively a pretty new category. But it's another category in itself. But having said that, I would say three things that I would like to do with this brand if I was there. What I would have done differently is, number one, of course, have a look at their reviews. Number second, try to improve my creatives and continuously do testing, because I've got such a huge catalog that I can do testing with my main images, I can do testing with my listing images, I can do testing with my brand story, A plus content. So inject as many creatives as possible. The more content that you have, especially in a category like this, the better it is. And of course, do your defensive targeting. And number third is, whenever a new season comes in, change your marketing angle based on that. So if it's Valentine's Day coming in, even if you're not planning to push your top SKUs for Valentine's Day, you can push your top, out of your top 10, you can push your lower 5 SKUs, right? And change them to a Valentine's Day marketing angle. You can actually make a few changes to your title as well. I do not recommend that for the SKUs which are selling extremely well, but for the ones where your revenues right now are down, which of course we can see from here as well, that SKUs are not doing that much good and are extremely relevant for Valentine's Day, right? So you can push your SKUs for any holiday event that comes in there, and see the kind of growth that you start getting. And the good thing about these seasons is, once again, because I've experienced it firsthand, is a lot of new to brand customers actually get attached to you during those holiday events, which you can further use for your brand tailored promotions, for your sponsored display retargeting, and a lot of other stuff as well. uh, One last point that I would like to bring in terms of advertising strategy, if you guys are, if I was running ads on, let's say, top 5 SKUs here, I would definitely have a look at my attribution report, when it comes to which product am I running ad for versus which one's converting. And if there's a certain amount of trend where my other product is converting, even if that's a variation of this presentation. So I'll tell you, if they're running ad on Excel white, but let's say a good amount of Excel pink is also converting, and they're not running any ads on Excel pink, I would try running, experimenting with Excel pink as well. The reason being, once again, this is something which I've seen very closely, and which we are monitoring it right now as well, that when you start running an ad on a product which was converting on some other advertisement, you actually get better CTR and better conversion rate when you're running exactly on their SKU, right? And you already know the targets based on which campaign are you seeing those results on. So yeah, that's a sum up. And yeah, that's it for now. Thank you.